Notice this, the way your mornings arrive. Before the sun fully stretches across your room, you are already stepping into a rhythm that feels too familiar. The ceiling above you looks the same. The sheets press against your skin in the same way. Yet what matters most is not the scenery, it's the invisible pattern your body rushes to replay. You wake with thoughts that circle back to yesterday's doubts. Your chest holds a heaviness that seems older than today. And your feet, before they even touch the floor, are marching back into a version of you that has been rehearsed 1,000 times. This is not carelessness, it is programming. Your body has memorized who you were, and it keeps offering that script the moment you stir. Pause here, feel it, that sense that you are walking through an echo, not a beginning. The heaviness isn't just metaphorical, it is the old you woven into your breath, your tone, your smallest choices. Like a sad tune replaying on the same radio station, it hums beneath everything. This isn't punishment, it is simply consistency. And the universe, always faithful to mirror, reflects the song you continue to broadcast. Now, imagine the old identity as a set of bags you never meant to pack. Inside them are echoes of failed attempts, words spoken in anger, memories of rejection. These bags have been strapped to your shoulders for years, maybe decades. Heavy, yes, but also strangely comforting, because even pain can feel safe when it is predictable. And so you carry it, not realizing that every time you do, you silently instruct life to stay the same. Not because you lack desire, but because your frequency hasn't shifted. Reality doesn't rearrange itself when you demand more. It rearranges when your state of being signals that something new has arrived. A softer truth emerges. That old self wasn't chosen consciously. It was shaped in moments when safety mattered more than expansion. It was your armor, your disguise, your emergency shelter, and it served you then. But the shelter has become a cage. What once protected you now limits you. Here is the revelation. You don't need to invent a completely new identity. You simply need to release the costume that no longer fits. Underneath the practiced reflexes is a self that has never been broken. You have touched it in brief moments when joy pierced through without explanation, when love felt effortless, when creativity poured without resistance. That essence is still here, waiting, steady, unhurt. Feel into this. Your reality is not fixed. It is a field of possibilities, shimmering like waves before they collapse into form. Which wave collapses depends on who is watching. The observer effect is not a distant scientific curiosity. It is the hidden law that shapes your mornings, your conversations, your entire life. You are the observer, and your identity, old or new, is the filter through which observation becomes reality. This means that the moment you stop unconsciously slipping into the old you, the field around you must respond differently, not later, immediately. Reality reorganizes not because of vision boards or affirmations alone, but because the frequency of your being has changed. So, what is the first step? Recognition, to pause and admit, I am not just living in circumstances, I am reliving an identity. My body remembers, my emotions repeat, and my world follows. That recognition is already a crack of light, a doorway to awareness. Because once you witness the pattern, you are no longer fully inside it. You become the watcher. And in that simple act of watching, the cage begins to loosen. You realize you are not the sadness. You are the awareness, noticing sadness. You are not the anxiety. You are the space in which anxiety arises and dissolves. This shift may feel subtle, but it is seismic, the first fracture in the loop. the first breath of freedom. Now imagine setting those heavy bags down, if only for a breath. Imagine hearing silence where the static once was. That silence is not emptiness, it is possibility. It is the clear frequency where your new self can be felt. And in that moment, you are no longer repeating, you are choosing. So let this section land as a gentle wake-up call. The old identity is not your enemy. It is simply tired, ready to be thanked, ready to be released. And you, the observer, are already stepping forward. With awareness as your guide, the next step will reveal itself not through force, but through frequency. Take one more breath here. Something subtle is already shifting, not outside of you, inside. And that is where every reality change begins. Now imagine stepping deeper into this recognition. You've seen how the old self feels like luggage on your back or static on a radio. But here's the key. It isn't just in your mind. It is written in your body. Every thought you repeat sends a signal through your nervous system. Every emotion releases a chemical flood. Over time, your body learns to expect these signals. It memorizes them like well-worn trails through a forest. And eventually, even without new events, your body replays the same feelings as if they are happening again. It's not imagination, it's biology. Think about this. The brain doesn't just store memories as pictures, it stores them as pathways. Imagine a dirt trail in the woods. The more times you walk it, the clearer it becomes. Trees bend away from it. Grass stops growing along its edge. Soon, you don't even have to think. Your feet automatically find it. That is how neurons wire together. Fear walked often becomes fear remembered. Shame walked often becomes shame rehearsed. Safety walked often becomes safety repeated. Your nervous system doesn't ask if it's good for you. It only asks, is this familiar? Pause here. Feel into your own patterns. What emotions are most practiced in your body? Guilt, doubt, anxiety. If they keep appearing, it's not because you are cursed. It's because your body has become fluent in them. It knows how to release the chemicals of tension or sadness the way a musician knows their instrument. Without even thinking, your biology plays the song. This is why positive thinking alone feels fragile. It's like planting a new seed in a forest of roots that have been growing for decades. Your body will resist, not because it hates change, but because it has learned to equate predictability with safety. Even pain can feel safer than the unknown. So when you try to step into joy, your body may tug you back toward the emotions it knows best. That tug isn't sabotage. It's an addiction to the familiar chemistry of the old self. A softer truth. You are not broken. You are simply conditioned. Your biology has practiced being you for so long that it believes repetition equals survival. The heart races at the same triggers. The breath shortens at the same reminders. Hormones flood on cue. And suddenly, the past isn't behind you, it is alive inside you. But remember this, biology is not destiny. The same system that memorized the old pathways is capable of learning new ones. The forest can grow fresh trails. Neurons that fire together can also stop firing together. Neurons that haven't yet connected can sprout new bridges. Every mindful observation you make begins the process of carving a new path through the woods of your brain. Notice how metaphor becomes map. The forest isn't a prison, it's alive, growing, responsive. Each time you catch yourself slipping into an old feeling and simply watch it without judgment, you are stepping off the old trail. The first steps may feel awkward, like pushing through tall grass, but with repetition, that grass bends, a new path begins, and the old one, through disuse, starts to fade. So here is the paradox. Transformation isn't about bulldozing the forest or erasing the past. It's about choosing differently in the present moment until your biology catches up with your awareness. This is why small shifts matter. A single deep breath when you would normally hold tension. A calm pause when you would normally snap. A kind word to yourself when the old script whispers self-doubt. Each act is a step onto the new trail. Each step is neurochemistry rewiring itself. Feel into this. Your nervous system has been loyal, not malicious. It built the old self to protect you. It learned to expect less, so disappointment wouldn't hurt as much. It braced your body so rejection wouldn't sting as deeply. And yet, in guarding you, it trapped you. But what was once armor can now be retired. With awareness, you no longer need the shield. You are safe enough to grow. And this is where science meets metaphor. Researchers show that when you practice observing your thoughts, instead of drowning in them, the prefrontal cortex lights up your center for choice. Meanwhile, the amygdala, the alarm bell of fear, quiets down. Your biology literally shifts. The forest responds to your footsteps. The body listens to your awareness. So the question becomes, will you keep walking the trail of yesterday, or will you step into the grass and begin a new path today? The forest will not resist you forever. With repetition, it will bend to your choice. Your biology will memorize peace as easily as it memorized pain, and your reality, faithful to your state, will mirror that shift. Take one breath right now as a living example. Inhale slowly, deeper than habit. Exhale even more slowly. That simple act just taught your nervous system a new possibility. A path has opened. And with practice, it becomes the way. Not because you are unlucky, but because your state of being is consistent. That is why reality feels predictable. This is the overlooked heart of the observer effect. You've heard the phrase before, observation collapses waves into particles, possibility into form. But let's strip away the abstraction and bring it into your life. The observer is not just your eyes watching the world. It is the total presence of who you are being while you look. Your nervous system, your emotions, your expectations, all of these form the lens. Imagine standing before a mirror. You can wish your reflection would smile, but until you change your own expression, the image won't move. Reality works the same way. It doesn't bend to desire alone. It bends to embodiment. Pause and breathe. This is not discouragement. It is empowerment. Because once you recognize the reflection as faithful, you stop blaming the mirror. You realize the adjustment begins within you. This is why you may have tried to change by writing goals or repeating affirmations, yet found yourself repeating the same cycles. You were holding a new picture in your mind while still standing in the old posture of self. Now imagine reality as a radio dial. Every possibility already exists, each as a station playing its own song. Abundance is a station, joy is a station, peace is a station. Scarcity, doubt, fear, those, too, have their frequencies. You don't create the song, you tune to it. And the dial you use is your identity, not your wish list. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is precise. If your state is worry, you land on the worry channel. If your state is gratitude, you land on the gratitude channel. The observer effect is the hand on the dial. Every moment you shift how you are being, you tune differently. Think of the old self as a broadcaster set to a familiar frequency. Day after day, it plays the same tune, and the universe echoes it faithfully. But when you step into awareness, when you witness the pattern without merging with it, you are already shifting the dial. The music around you will eventually change, not by force but by resonance. Here's a gentle contrast. You do not manifest the future like a magician pulling rabbits from a hat. You select it like a radio host, choosing which track to play. The magic is not in summoning what does not exist. It is in aligning with what has always been waiting. This is the quantum frame recentered, not wishful thinking, but vibrational selection. Notice how this removes struggle. Instead of chasing, you become. Instead of demanding, you tune. Instead of pushing, you align. And because the quantum field is immediate, the feedback is immediate. You may not see a new house or job appear tomorrow, but you will feel the frequency shift instantly. A calmness where there was tension, a sense of flow where there was friction. These are the early signals that the mirror is reflecting something new. A softer truth. What you see is not punishment, it is feedback. If you notice repeating patterns of lack or conflict, don't shame yourself. Observe it as information. The mirror is telling you which identity is currently in the room, and that is a gift, because the moment you see it, you can choose again. So, here is the practice. Catch yourself in the act of being the old broadcaster. Hear the static, notice the song, and then, with awareness, pause. Ask, who is observing this? The moment you ask, you separate from the old tune. You are no longer just the song. You are the listener choosing whether to change the station. Feel into this. Every observation is a sacred opportunity. Every glance at your reflection is a chance to shift posture. Every inhale and exhale is a moment where you can reset the dial, not because the future needs to be pulled from afar, but because it is already playing, waiting for you to align. Let this settle. You are not manifesting, you are selecting. You are not chasing, you are tuning. You are not waiting, you are witnessing. And each time you choose awareness over autopilot, the field responds, immediately, quietly at first, then unmistakably. So as you move forward, remember this mirror and this radio dial. They are simple metaphors, but they carry the weight of a cosmic truth. Reality does not change when you demand it. It changes the moment you do. Feel into it. Every heartbeat you've ever known has been more than a drum inside your chest. It has been a signal radiating outward, an invisible field reaching beyond your skin. Science tells us your heart generates an electromagnetic signature stronger than your brain's so strong. It extends several feet in every direction. But beyond the data, imagine it as a lantern glowing around you, coloring the room with the frequency of your inner state. When your heart is clenched by fear, that lantern flickers with static. Others can sense it, even if they can't explain why they feel uneasy. Opportunities seem to miss you. Conversations feel jagged. Life reflects the turbulence of your field. But when your heart rests in gratitude or appreciation, the lantern steadies. Its glow becomes coherent, a smooth rhythm instead of scattered sparks. And coherence changes everything. Not because gratitude is morally superior, but because coherence is physically magnetic. When your inner field is synchronized, the information you broadcast to the quantum field becomes ordered, harmonious. Imagine a choir all singing in tune. The resonance fills the room, vibrating every surface. That's what your heart coherence does to your life. It creates resonance that calls matching experiences toward you. Pause here. You've been told manifestation is about thoughts, affirmations, or vision boards, but the truth is simpler and deeper. Thoughts are electrical signals, yes, but emotions, especially those of the heart, are magnetic. Together, they form your electromagnetic signature. That signature is your broadcast, and the field always replies in kind. Imagine your signature as a song. If you're humming worry, the universe sings worry back. If you're humming joy, the universe harmonizes with joy. You cannot fake this tune. You can paste a smile on your face while your heart aches with doubt, and the field will still respond to the ache, not the smile. Frequency is honest. So here is the practice. Breathe through your heart. Place your attention there, as though your chest itself is inhaling. Slow, steady, gentle. With each exhale, invite in a feeling not forced, but remembered. Gratitude for someone you love. Appreciation for a moment when you felt alive. Even the smallest spark is enough. That spark is coherence beginning. What changes is not only how you feel, but what your body broadcasts. Studies show that in coherent states, your nervous system calms, your hormones balance, and your brain waves synchronize. You feel clear, centered, less reactive, and the field around you shifts in response. Synchronicities increase, doors open, encounters soften. This isn't luck, it's physics. Now imagine walking into a room with your lantern of coherence glowing steadily. People can't always name it, but they sense it. They feel calmer near you. They trust you faster. They lean toward your presence. That's the magnetism of coherence. It is not forceful, it is inviting. And in the quantum field, it is powerful enough to bend probabilities. A softer truth. You will not live in coherence every moment. Old patterns will resurface. Fear may flare. That is natural. But every time you return to your heart, you remind your body and your field of a new rhythm. You train your system the way a musician trains their ear. Practice creates fluency. Think of coherence like tuning a guitar. If one string is out of pitch, the whole song feels off. But once tuned, even the simplest chord becomes beautiful. Your mind, emotions, and body are strings. When your heart leads the tuning, everything aligns. And when everything aligns, the universe mirrors the music. So ask yourself now, what song is your heart playing today? Does it hum with tension? Does it murmur with peace? Whatever it is, the field is echoing it. But here is the empowerment you can choose. With one breath, one feeling of gratitude, you can begin to shift the tune. Let this land. Your heart is not just a pump. It is a transmitter, a conductor, a beacon. The coherence you cultivate is not for decoration. It is the language the universe understands most clearly. And as you practice it, your electromagnetic signature becomes a song the world cannot ignore. And then watch. The reflection begins to change. Small coincidences, gentle openings, people meeting you with unexpected kindness. These are not random. They are harmony answering harmony. The field, faithful as always, is singing back what you've chosen to broadcast. So here's the practice. If the old self has been carried like heavy luggage, then release requires more than just thinking differently. It requires ritual. The body, the emotions, the subconscious all respond to symbols, images, and simple embodied acts that mark transition. When you perform a ceremony, you speak in the language your nervous system understands. Now imagine this. You are standing in a quiet space, eyes closed. In your hands, you hold an invisible suitcase. Inside it are the stories you've told yourself for years, the doubts, the disappointments, the echoes of voices that once convinced you to play small. Feel the weight of that case. Notice how your shoulders tighten, how your breath shortens as you carry it. This is what your body has been doing unconsciously every single day. Pause here. Instead of judging the suitcase, thank it. Whisper to it, "You protected me once. You gave me an identity when I needed safety." You kept me alive in moments when I felt lost. But now, I am ready to set you down. Gratitude is essential, because resistance tightens the grip. Gratitude loosens it. Now picture yourself placing the suitcase gently on the ground, not throwing it away, not burning it, simply setting it down. Your breath deepens, your spine straightens. For the first time in a long time, your hands are free. The energy you once used to clutch the past is now available for something new. Feel into this. Release is not destruction, it is retirement. The old self does not vanish with violence, it dissolves when it is honored. Like an elder who carried burdens for too long, it simply needs permission to rest. And you are the one who grants that permission. Take another breath. Place one hand on your chest. Speak softly. I no longer create from the past. I am tuned to who I truly am. Repeat it again, slower, with weight. Notice how your body responds. Does your chest expand? Do your shoulders lighten? These are signs that your biology is listening. The declaration is not magic words, it is frequency. It is alignment between thought, breath, and heart. A softer truth. This ceremony is not a one-time fix. It is a doorway. Each time the old identity resurfaces, and you are offered another chance to repeat the ritual, to feel the weight, to set it down, to breathe into freedom again. With practice, the act becomes automatic. Eventually, you won't need the full ceremony. A single deep breath, a hand to your heart, a quiet thank you will be enough to release. Here's an image. Think of a forest with two trails. One is wide, trampled, familiar, the path of the old self. The other is narrow, barely visible, the path of the new. Each time you repeat this ceremony, you walk the new path. Each repetition clears branches, presses the earth flat, and makes the way more natural. Over time, the old trail grows over with grass. The new trail becomes home. Not because the past disappears, but because your feet no longer choose it. Notice this. Release is not about erasing pain. It is about refusing to let pain define you. By setting down the suitcase, you are not denying that it existed. You are declaring that it no longer determines your future. This is the essence of transformation, not addition, but subtraction. Not becoming someone new, but unburdening yourself enough to remember who you always were. Now imagine closing the ritual. See yourself turning and walking forward, lighter, taller, clearer. Behind you, the suitcase rests. Ahead of you, space opens. The quantum field waits, not for you to prove yourself, but for you to tune yourself. And now you are lighter, freer, closer to coherence. And then watch. In the days ahead, your body will test you. Old feelings may surge as if the suitcase is trying to leap back into your arms. When that happens, remember the ritual. Smile gently. Place your hand on your chest and whisper again, I no longer create from the past. I am tuned to who I truly am. That act, simple yet profound, shifts the dial. The field responds instantly. This is the ceremony of release. It is both symbolic and physical, both inner and outer. Each time you perform it, you rewrite the program of your nervous system, dissolve the weight of your history, and open yourself to the version of you who has been waiting patiently, already free. What changes is subtle but revolutionary. You cannot just release the old self. You must begin rehearsing the new one. Release creates space. Embodiment fills it. Without embodiment, the space left behind by the old identity can collapse back into habit. So here is where the practice shifts from ceremony to daily living. Pause and imagine this. Your future self, The version of you already aligned with joy, confidence, and clarity is not far away. They are not a distant dream. They are a frequency you can step into right now, breath by breath. The secret is not to wait until circumstances change. The secret is to embody that self before evidence arrives. Think about how that future self moves through a room. Do they shuffle with weight on their shoulders, or do they carry a quiet steadiness? How do they breathe? Shallow and rushed, or slow and full, as if trusting that each inhale will be met with air? What is the tone of their voice? Hesitant and apologetic, or calm, grounded, and clear? These small embodied details broadcast more loudly than words. Your posture is a transmission. Your breath is a frequency. Your gaze is a signal. Together, they tell the field who you are being, and the field responds accordingly. So here's the practice. Begin with 3 daily anchors: posture, breath, and voice. First, posture. Notice how often your shoulders round forward, pulling your chest inward. That is the stance of protection, of survival. Instead, roll them back gently, open your chest, and let your spine lengthen. This simple act tells your nervous system, I am safe, I am open, I am present. Second, breath. Most of the old self's breath is shallow, caught in the upper chest. This keeps the body in a state of subtle alarm. To shift, place a hand on your belly and inhale until you feel it rise. Exhale longer than the inhale. Do this 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening. Each breath is a declaration. I am no longer rushing. I am already where I need to be. Third, voice. The old self often speaks quickly or softly, as though asking permission to exist. Try slowing your speech by just a fraction. Let your words land with weight. When you speak, imagine the sound coming from deep within your chest, not just your throat. This is how your future self communicates clear, confident, without strain. What may surprise you is how quickly the world reflects these shifts. Strangers respond differently. Friends notice something new in your presence. Opportunities seem to appear not because of luck, but because your field has changed. Your electromagnetic song is singing from a different key, and reality harmonizes with it. A softer truth. Embodiment is not pretending, it is remembering. You are not faking confidence by standing tall. You are recalling the version of you who has always known peace. The body learns through repetition, and the more you practice these anchors, the more natural they become. Eventually, they are no longer practices, they are simply how you move. And then watch. Micro choices shift too. You take a different route home. You respond with patience instead of irritation. You notice possibilities your old self would have dismissed. Each small action is not random. It is a quantum collapse, a selection from infinite possibilities. You are literally choosing a different universe in real time. Think of it like tuning an instrument. At first, the adjustments feel awkward, mechanical. You have to think about every note, but with practice, the melody flows. Embodying your future self is the same. What feels like effort at first becomes effortless expression. Now ask yourself, who must I be today to match the reality I desire? Not tomorrow, not after success arrives today. Embody it in your stance, in your breath, in your tone. Because when you embody it, the mirror of reality has no choice but to reflect it. Let this truth land. The future self is not waiting for you. They are waiting in you. And each moment you embody them, even in the smallest ways, you collapse their world into form. So take one breath right now as that future self. Sit taller, inhale slower, speak one word with intention. This is not rehearsal anymore. This is embodiment. A softer truth. As you step into your embodied future self, not everyone will meet you there. This is one of the quiet challenges of transformation. Your new frequency doesn't just shift how you feel, it alters the ecosystem of your relationships, the invisible agreements that held your old identity in place. Think about it. Every friendship, every bond, every group has its rhythm. It's like a dance where each person plays a familiar role. When you change your steps, the dance changes. Some people will adjust gracefully, delighted by your new rhythm. Others will stumble, confused, even resistant. Not because they are cruel, but because your new song reminds them of their own unpracticed steps. Notice this. You may feel tempted to shrink back, to return to the old frequency, just to keep the dance smooth. But remember, the old self is a cage you've already begun to unlock. Integration requires courage to keep moving, even when others don't yet understand your tempo. Now imagine this as a lantern you carry. When it glows brighter, moths gather. Some are inspired by the light. Others are unsettled because it exposes their own shadows. Neither reaction is about your worth. It is about resonance. Those who are ready for your light will draw near. Those who are not may drift away. Both are natural. Here's the practice. Instead of forcing anyone to follow, let your coherence do the work. When you embody peace, your presence is the invitation. When you live from alignment, your very being is the teaching. You don't need to convince, argue, or prove. You only need to remain faithful to the new frequency you've chosen. Pause and feel into this. Some of the most powerful transformations are silent. The way you breathe when conflict arises. The way you respond to stress with calm instead of panic. The way you carry yourself with openness instead of defense. People feel it, even if they can't articulate it. That's the ripple of your integration it teaches without words. And then watch what happens. A friend may begin to mirror your calm. A family member may soften in your presence. A coworker may suddenly speak more kindly without knowing why. Your coherence becomes contagious, seeding subtle change in your environment. This is social ecology at work. One person's frequency reorganizing the field for many. But let's be honest, some will not adjust. Some may even push back, preferring the comfort of who you used to be. When this happens, remember, not everyone is meant to travel the same path with you. The forest trails diverge. And that's not rejection, it's resonance guiding you toward those aligned with your new song. Think of it this way. As you shift frequencies, you naturally attract a new tribe. People who vibrate with your openness, your courage, your clarity. They may appear suddenly through synchronicity, as though pulled into your orbit. These are not accidents. They are confirmations that your new broadcast is being answered. A softer truth again. Grief may arise. You may miss the old dance, the old companions, even if they were part of your cage. Allow the grief. Honor it as part of the release. Integration is not just joy, it is also farewell. Yet every farewell makes space for arrival. So here is the choice. Do you dim your lantern to comfort others, or do you keep shining to call forth those who are waiting to find you? The field rewards coherence, not compromise. The more faithful you are to your new state, the faster your external world reorganizes to match it. Feel into this now. You are not alone. Even when some drift away, you are stepping into a larger network, a field of coherence, where countless others are making the same choice. You may not see them yet, but you are already resonating together. This is how global shifts begin, not through one loud declaration, but through many quiet frequencies converging. So let this section land as reassurance. Integration is not just personal, It is relational. Some will rise with you, some will step aside. Both are natural. Your only task is to remain anchored, compassionate, and open as your social ecology reshapes itself around your new frequency. And when you do, you will find that the right companions appear at the right time, not because you chased them, but because your light called them home. And then watch. The field responds, not always with fireworks, but with whispers, small ripples that confirm something has changed inside you. These are the early signs of alignment. They rarely arrive in the form of instant miracles. Instead, they come as synchronicities, nudges, and subtle rearrangements that your old self would have dismissed as coincidence. Pause here. Think about the last time you thought of someone, and moments later they reached out, or when you felt pulled to take a different path home, only to discover something unexpected along the way. These moments are not random, they are reflections of coherence. They are feedback from the quantum field, answering your new broadcast. Notice this, your reality often shifts in layers. The first layer is internal. You feel lighter, calmer, as though you are no longer bracing against life. The second layer is environmental. New opportunities, or people appear seemingly out of nowhere. The third layer is relational. Others respond differently to you, not because they've changed, but because you have. Together, these layers form the mosaic of your new timeline. Now imagine reality as a mirror with a slight delay. You smile, and the reflection follows instantly. But in life, sometimes the delay stretches. You embody the new self, and the field begins to reorganize, but external evidence may arrive gradually. This is not failure, it is physics. Momentum builds. Like a stone dropped into still water, the ripples expand until they touch every shore. A softer truth. Impatience is the old self's last disguise. It whispers, "See, nothing has changed," trying to pull you back into familiar disappointment. But when you trust the ripples, when you keep embodying the new frequency without demanding instant proof, you strengthen the signal. That trust itself is coherence. Let's ground this with examples. You begin practicing heart-breath coherence in the morning. Within days, you notice fewer anxious thoughts. A week later, you respond differently to stress, calmer, clearer. Soon after, a stranger smiles at you in passing, and it feels significant, like the universe winking. You mention an idea casually, and someone offers to help. These are not trivial. They are evidence of a field aligning around your new signature. Think of synchronicities as breadcrumbs. They don't show you the entire path, but they confirm you are headed in the right direction. Each one is an invitation to keep going. Ignore them, and they fade. Honor them, and they multiply. The field is conversational. It speaks in symbols, timing, and patterns. Here's the practice. Start keeping a synchronicity journal. Write down every coincidence that feels aligned, no matter how small. Over time, you'll see a tapestry form patterns that reassure you that you are not imagining the shift. This simple act also trains your mind to notice the evidence rather than dismiss it. Observation amplifies coherence. Now feel into this. Signs don't always look like success. Sometimes, as you embody a new frequency, old structures collapse. A job ends. A relationship fades. An opportunity falls through. These, too, are evidence. The field is clearing space for resonance. What doesn't match your new frequency cannot remain. Painful as it may feel, this is alignment in motion. A softer truth. The old self interprets endings as failure. The new self recognizes them as pruning. Just as a tree must release dead branches to bloom again, your life sheds what no longer serves. Each ending is a sign that the field is reorganizing to make room for coherence. And then watch. Once you stop clinging to the old, the new flows faster. You begin to notice meaningful patterns, numbers repeating, conversations echoing your inner thoughts, ideas arriving at just the right time. These are not mystical accidents. They are the mathematics of resonance, the physics of alignment made visible. Think of it as non-local communication. Your inner field whispers, and the universe replies through countless channels, an overheard word, a sudden opportunity, a dream that feels more real than waking. The quantum field is creative in how it confirms your frequency. So let this section be your reminder. Evidence of shift is not just material, it is experiential. It begins in feelings, shows up in patterns, and eventually reshapes the tangible. The more you honor these signals, the stronger they become. Because the universe is always listening, and the moment you tune differently, it cannot help but respond. So here's the practice. If you want your new self to stabilize, you must train it daily. One ceremony or one breakthrough is powerful, but without maintenance, the forest trail of the old self reappears. Your brain and body have decades of momentum they don't erase overnight, but with steady sculpting, they reshape. Think of this as neural gardening. Old weeds do not vanish because you hope they will. You pull them gently, consistently, while planting new seeds. Over time, the garden looks different, not because of one day's effort, but because of faithful tending. Pause here. Your maintenance practice does not need to be long or complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more powerful. Complexity overwhelms the nervous system. Simplicity rewires it. So we begin with 4 steps. Observe, release, embody, anchor. 5 minutes daily is enough to carve new pathways. Step 1. Observe. At least once a day, stop and ask, which identity is steering me right now? The old broadcaster, playing static, or the future self, humming coherence? No judgment, just notice. Awareness is the first act of sculpting. Each time you observe, you strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for choice. Step 2. Release. When you catch the old program, breathe once deeply and imagine setting down the suitcase again. Whisper gently, "Not today. Thank you, but rest now." This interrupts the autopilot loop and frees your nervous system from replaying the old tune. Step 3. Embody. After releasing, shift into one small act that belongs to your future self. Straighten your posture, slow your breath, speak with calm clarity. These micro-embodiments teach your body a new normal. Each act is a stroke of the sculptor's chisel, reshaping the stone of your biology. Step 4. Anchor. Seal the practice with a short declaration, not long affirmations but one felt sentence. Something like, "I am coherence now," or "I choose presence." Say it slowly, from the chest, with breath behind it. The words are less important than the state you embody while speaking them. Feel into this. 5 minutes of observe, release, embody, anchor is enough to reset your entire signal for the day. If repeated, the neural pathways of the old self fade from disuse, while the pathways of the new self grow stronger. This is how sculptors work, not by smashing the stone all at once, but by striking the chisel in small, steady blows until the form emerges. Notice this. Some days you will feel resistance. You may wake up heavy, doubtful, certain that the practice is pointless. These are not failures. They are integration days. The nervous system is detoxing, pulling up old programs for release. On these days, your practice matters even more. Even one deep breath in coherence is a victory. Even one whispered declaration is progress. A softer truth. Maintenance is not glamorous. It is rarely dramatic. It is quiet, steady, often unnoticed. But it is in this quiet repetition that entire identities are rebuilt. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't celebrate it, but without it, decay sets in. Maintenance is the hygiene of your consciousness. And then watch. The compound effect appears. One day, you realize the old triggers barely sting. One day, someone points out how different your energy feels. One day, you notice that opportunities now arrive without the old struggle. None of this is random. It is the fruit of daily sculpting. So here is the invitation. Give yourself 5 minutes a day. No excuses, no conditions. Just 5 minutes to observe, release, embody, and anchor. The brain rewires through repetition, not intensity. The body learns through daily rhythm, not occasional bursts. Feel into this now. Imagine yourself a month from today, faithful to this practice. The forest trail of the old self is already fading. The new path is clear beneath your feet. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. The new identity no longer feels like effort. It feels like home. Imagine a year from now, the old self is only a distant echo, and your life reflects the coherence you chose daily. This is neural sculpting. This is maintenance. Not punishment, but devotion. Not obligation, but freedom. And each day you choose it, you carve your future self more clearly into form. Notice this. After all the layers we've uncovered, the recognition, the biology, the observer, the coherence, the ceremony, the embodiment, the integration, the evidence, and the maintenance, you are standing at a threshold. This is not theory anymore. It is a lived path. And at the center of this path is a choice. Will you continue rehearsing the old script, or will you claim the future self already alive within you? The reclamation begins here, in this breath. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the old self standing before you, not as an enemy, but as a companion who has carried burdens too long. See their tired shoulders, their guarded heart, their practiced doubt. Step closer. Whisper, "Thank you." Place a hand gently on their back and release them with love. Feel them dissolve, like mist in the morning Sunday. You do not erase them, you free them. And in that freedom, you free yourself. Now imagine the future self stepping forward. Notice their presence, the ease in their spine, the calm light in their eyes, the certainty in their voice. This version of you does not strain, does not chase, does not pretend. They simply radiate coherence. And as you breathe, feel that coherence rise in your chest, pulsing outward like a steady lantern. And then, watch. As you stand in this presence, the room around you feels different. Not because the furniture moved, but because you did. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and the field cannot help but respond. This is reclamation, not wishing, but embodying, not asking, but becoming. So here is the ritual close. Stand tall, shoulders open, heart lifted. Take one slow inhale, and as you exhale, speak aloud, even softly, this declaration. I no longer create from the past. I am tuned to who I truly am. Speak it once more, slower, with conviction. Let it vibrate through your chest, through your cells, through the field around you. This is not repetition, this is anchoring. Pause. Feel the silence after the words. That silence is not emptiness, it is resonance. The declaration is not just sound, it is signal, and as you hold it, the field reorganizes itself in real time, aligning possibilities to your new state of being. A softer truth. Reclamation is not a single moment, it is a rhythm. Each day, you will have chances to step back into the old or forward into the new. Some days you will wobble, some days you will shine. Both are part of the path. What matters is not perfection, but return. Every return strengthens the signal. Every return proves to your nervous system that the future self is not fragile, it is the real you. And as you continue, you invite others. Your coherence becomes a beacon. Without preaching, you call forth those ready to rise. Without force, you inspire by example. The field you broadcast helps others remember their own. This is how reclamation ripples through the collective. Your personal shift becomes a global contribution. So let this close not as an ending but as an invitation. You have released, you have embodied, you have reclaimed. Now, carry it into every breath, every glance, every step. The universe is not waiting for someday, it is listening now. And with each choice, each heartbeat, each act of coherence, you are writing the reality you longed for. Feel into this truth. Your old self has served its purpose. Your new self is already here. And reality, faithful as always, is listening to the frequency you hold.